Welcome to Live with the Eczema Doc, brought to you by Clean Body, where we believe that you can heal your skin from within by cleaning your body. I'm Dr. Fong, a naturopathic doctor specializing in eczema, and I'm here to guide you through the journey of understanding the root causes of your eczema so that you can finally achieve the clear, healthy skin you deserve. Each week, we combine research-backed insights, science-based strategies, and my years of clinical experience to uncover what's really triggering your eczema and how you can take control for lasting relief. Let's dive into today's episode and uncover the next step to healing your skin from within. Hello, today I am talking about a topic that is really important if you have eczema. And this is, what is the real true process of eczema healing? What does it really take to heal eczema from the inside out? And of course, this is different from conventional medicine. This is different from taking a medication and immediately your symptoms might get better. Healing from the inside out is a different process. And I'd like to really break this down for you today. So if you have eczema and you're really looking for a different approach, you're really looking for a way to heal from the inside out, you're looking for a way to find lasting relief instead of temporary relief, then this is definitely an episode that you're going to want to pay attention to, okay? So what is Hering's Law? So Dr. Constantine Hering is actually a conventional MD back in the 1800s. And he really got turned on to holistic healing. And we actually also call him, sometimes he's referred to as the father of homeopathy. Homeopathy is a type of holistic medicine where we're using very dilute herbs, very dilute remedies to encourage the body's healing process. The homeopathy is actually something I widely use in my practice as well too. And, this was a conventional doctor who kind of jumped ship and decided to go to the other side and practice homeopathic medicine. And over years of working with patients using homeopathy, using the more natural and holistic approach, he came up with something called Hering's Law of Cure. And I have seen this countless times with my patients. I have seen this in my practice over and over again. And in eczema, I think it can actually be a type of healing that is really important that you understand because it can help you through the process in understanding what's going on. Are you healing? Are you progressing? Or are you just standing still? And I think this is one of the hardest problems when we're trying to heal our eczema on our own and we just don't know if things are moving along. Are they not moving along? Is this a flare-up that's good? Is this a flare-up that's bad? And so Hering's Law of Cure is a couple of things. First of all, healing occurs from the inside out. And what that means is often when your body's healing, your body is going to prioritize your core organs, your gut, your liver, your kidneys. These are core organs. And it's going to put less priority on the peripheral organs, things like your skin, your joints, your bones. Those may not be as important as those core organs. So when you see the healing process, you might actually see that you're healing some of those organs first. You might notice your gut symptoms are improving. Your headaches are improving. If you're a female, your period symptoms are improving. And for some reason, that skin is the last thing to improve. Unfortunately, the body is going to prioritize those more important organs first. Those are the organs that are keeping you alive, and we can kind of deprioritize the skin. So this is important for an eczema healing process because, of course, one of your main concerns is healing your skin. And unfortunately, this may be one of the last things on the list that your body is paying attention to. Okay. Now, healing also tends to happen in the reverse order. So what does this mean? And I like to use myself as an example. So when I was born, I had eczema. I also had constipation. And then after that, I started to have a lot of gastrointestinal issues. Then I started to get headaches. And then my period was really off. And that was kind of my progression. So in my healing journey, there are some symptoms that I didn't have at the time that I started my process, but I actually saw a return of my symptoms. So as I was healing, I actually started to get headaches again, and then they went away. And then I started to have my IBS symptoms, and then they went away. And then finally my skin healed. And so you often can see that the symptoms will resurface in the reverse order that you saw them happen in your lifetime. And I have seen this with my patients as well. And for myself, this was definitely true. And it can be really important because as you're going through a healing process, you might get a return of symptoms and you might say, oh, I'm getting worse, And this is where a naturopathic doctor or a holistic practitioner might be familiar with Hering's Law. And they might say, well, you may actually be improving, and this is a return of your symptoms and you're healing in the reverse order. And of course, that would be true if other things were improving, and we would kind of take the whole picture into account. And this is why it can sometimes be helpful, when people are working with my team, is we're kind of zooming out and seeing everything and letting you know what we think from that zoomed out perspective. Whereas, of course, you are zoomed in on each of your symptoms. And of course, you're just going to be focused on how painful your skin is, how itchy your skin is, how you are feeling, in this very moment, instead of zooming out and seeing the whole picture. Okay, so that's why this can be really important to understand. The other thing, and I think this is really important for an eczema situation, is we often do see that there is a process of healing where we will see the skin getting better from the top to the bottom. So you may actually see your face getting better before you see your feet getting better, for example. And then you may see that the core of your body gets better before the peripheral. So you may see maybe not just face, but even like the torso gets better before the arms, the fingers, and the legs. Arms, fingers, legs, ankles are often the last to heal. And if you are someone with eczema, you might know this. You might say, oh yeah, my face and my neck are better, but actually my hands and my ankles and my feet are still having symptoms. So we often see this healing process. And as I mentioned, the skin, unfortunately, is one of the last to heal. And so as you are going through an eczema healing process, you really need to remember this, and you really need to focus on your wins. You need to focus on, oh yeah, my gut symptoms are better. I'm pooping every day now. I'm no longer getting bloated anymore. I no longer have headaches. Oh, my period is really regular now. I don't have period symptoms anymore. And that skin, again, may be the last to heal. And then as it starts to heal, again, you may not notice it's healing all at the same time. You may notice it's healing, again, top to bottom, inside out. So yes, this can unfortunately be, a little bit of a process, something we have to be patient with. But understanding this healing process can really be empowering because you can, remind yourself, okay, I am healing. It just takes time. Okay. Then the other thing is once the skin does start to heal, usually this comes in stages as well too. So, the first stage of eczema, we're often seeing that inflammation, the redness, then might see it as it's healing. We might see that skin is actually getting dry and flaking. And this, of course, is not comfortable. It does not look great, but this can actually be a sign of healing when the redness and inflammation is coming down and now it's starting to just be more flaky, the skin. This can be a sign that things are healing. So this is actually a great sign and something that you will want to celebrate as that's happening. And I know that's a hard thing because you got flakes everywhere and it's uncomfortable. Once all of that skin flakes off, just kind of like the skin of a snake, then when it comes off and now you have new skin appearing, that can then be the rebuilding phase where the skin is now healing, it's rebuilding. And it can also be a win when these cycles tend to get shorter, when you're noticing that the flare doesn't last for too long, when the skin is healing faster. That could also be a sign that the internal body is healing. And so the body is able to heal the skin faster. So these are all great signs that things are moving along. And you have to celebrate these wins because the more you focus on the negatives, the longer this process is going to take. And one of the things I like to say is we have to think positively about our healing process. And, there is real science behind this. There's real research. I do love the book by Joe Dispenza, You Are the Placebo. Let's say you're actually going down a mountain on skis and you're going down the mountain and you say, oh no, there's a tree right there. And so you move your body towards the tree and you say, uh-oh, I'm going to hit that tree. I'm going to hit that tree. I'm going to hit that tree. And of course, because you're focusing on the tree, you are going to hit that tree. But if you focus on the finish line, your body is actually going to shift to the finish line and you're going to make it there faster. So it's ever more important, like when you are going through a healing process, to do this same thing is to really focus on the finish line, focus on the positives, focus on the things that are happening that are good in your healing process. and don't focus on the fact that there's still eczema there. And I think that can be really important. And it really does speed up the healing process. If you keep celebrating those wins, then you keep really stimulating the body to heal even faster. Okay. So achieving a clean body is what I like to call that healing from within. And that means that we are cleaning up the body. We're understanding the burdens that are on the body for eczema. I always talk about how those are things like microbiome imbalances. You could have pathogens like parasites, mold, etc. Toxins, you could have toxin burden. There could be leaky gut. There could be leaky skin. There could be, nutrition and lifestyle deficiencies that we need to look at. And this process, is not going to be changing things overnight. The tissues need to heal. The inflammation needs to come down. And so we really need to be patient with that process. But once we achieve it, it can be really quite amazing. And so we want to achieve what I like to call a clean body. And then this also has to do with our environment, right? A clean body means you're also living in a clean environment. Now, there is also an interesting timeline that Dr. Herring also witnessed as he was observing the healing of his patients. And, he gave this general timeline. Of course, it can't be used for every single person, but I think it does give us a little bit of a guideline and an understanding of how long it might take someone to heal. So he said for every year that someone has had a problem or a symptom, it might take a month to heal that problem. So you can kind of calculate, and as I've shown here, it might be a little small for you to see, but if someone has had a problem like eczema for 30 years of their life, they might see that there might be a 30-month healing process. Now, what I've noticed is when you have a team that is supporting you to help you identify what are the triggers that we need to remove, what are the burdens we need to remove, how can we target specific problems, how can we support your nutrition and lifestyle, and then also just kind of the mental health aspects, like you're freaking out because you're having a flare and you need someone to help you understand, is this a flare? Is this part of the process? Is this part of the healing process? Just having that support system can also make this healing process faster as well, because instead of freaking out and not knowing what to do and being confused and afraid and fearful, you're now confident that, okay, what I'm doing is working. Things are healing. It's moving in the process that, is normal and natural for a healing process. So, instead of taking 30 months to heal eczema, it's possible that with all of that support and all of kind of doing the right things and identifying the right root causes of your eczema, it could be a quarter of that time is really what I've noticed. So instead of 30 months, it could potentially take 7.5 months instead, only 25% of that healing time that Dr. Herring, had mentioned. And I have seen this in my practice. So I have seen people who have been dealing with eczema for their entire life and have, gone through this in only 7 to 9 months. Okay. Now, I personally have gone through this process. So I was born with eczema and I basically was using topical steroids my entire life. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a dermatologist because I wanted to figure out a solution. And I did go down the conventional route. Unfortunately, I did not find a lot of answers there. And so, I ended up I was pregnant and, this was actually 16 years ago. And I had to stop using my topical steroids. And so when I stopped using them, for those of you who know what topical steroid withdrawal is, I went through topical steroid withdrawal. And this is when you basically stop using your steroids and your body has withdrawal symptoms. So not only was I pregnant, I also had eczema all over my body. And now I also had another layer of issue, which is called topical steroid withdrawal. So if you are watching this, I'm showing a picture of me pregnant. And if you zoom in close, you can see that there's eczema all over my hands. I'm also wearing a long sleeve sweater in this picture. And I'm wearing that picture and you'll see my sisters are not wearing long sleeve shirts because they don't have eczema. But I'm wearing a long sleeve sweater because I'm covering up all of the TSW that I have. TSW is also called red skin syndrome. This is where it just gets really red. It's a sleeve of red. It's hot. It's burning. It's so uncomfortable. And I was pregnant. So this was actually the first time I decided to go outside the box and say, okay, what else can I do since I can't do topical steroids because I'm pregnant? I don't want to. I don't want to take any medications. I'm pregnant. I want to protect my baby. what can I do? And this is the first time I came across naturopathic medicine. And it was quite amazing. I changed my diet. I took some supplements to support my liver, my gut, and my adrenals. Within 2 weeks, I had seen the most change to my eczema that I'd ever seen without doing topical steroids. And that was it. I actually started naturopathic medical school when my daughter was 4 months old. And the rest is history, right? So I have been eczema free for over 10 years now. But in that process, it actually took me all of medical school to heal my eczema. So it took me about 5 years to truly heal my eczema. Since then, it's been about a decade now. I have not had eczema ever since. I'm completely eczema free. I'm completely healthy. I really don't have symptoms. And if I ever have any symptoms that pop up, I know exactly what to do to kind of get back in order. And that process of healing, though, I did follow Herring's law. So I did notice that my skin healed from the inside out, from the top to the bottom. I noticed my symptoms, as I mentioned, like my headaches and my IBS symptoms, those things got better before my skin ever got better. And my skin was truly the last thing to heal. And it's why when I support my patients, I can understand what's happening and I can really see it. I can zoom out and see this for my patients. And so I think this is a really important thing to understand if you are going through a healing process. And hopefully this does give you hope that you are moving through your process and you are moving through the healing process, and you just might be somewhere along the journey. And, and if you're needing support, then reaching out to people who really understand what that process should look like might be a good idea, so that you can really understand, okay, I am in the healing process. I'm not going backwards. And sometimes the experience of symptoms coming back is actually part of the healing process. And sometimes there could be detox reactions and things that are happening as the skin is healing, as the body's healing. And you might not understand that because you don't have experience with that, So I think it can be really helpful if you're just feeling lost right now. Now, you are going to make it to that finish line. If you are determined to make it to that finish line, if you start making the changes to your nutrition and your lifestyle, and you really start understanding what the root causes are, and you start addressing those root causes, you are going to make it to the finish line. We don't know how long that's going to take. And hopefully, using Dr. Herring's little equation, you can maybe figure out, a relative timeline. But once you make it to that finish line, the other thing I want to say is it's not just about making it there. It's about also maintaining what I like to call a clean body. And that means that the changes that you have made, you actually do have to keep those changes alive in your life. I like to call it the pillars of health. So you have to eat clean food. You have to have a clean fitness regimen. You have to have a clean environment. You have to have a clean routine, and you have to have a clean mind. Stress is so important. And I do have a lot of patients who will clear everything because they're in the program. They're really paying attention to their stress levels. And then they get out of the program. They start eating whatever they want again. They start stressing out. They're not sleeping. They're not drinking water. And then their symptoms come back. And, hopefully they understand, okay, it's because I really didn't maintain my clean body lifestyle. And so I think that's also important to understand is health is really, it's a lifetime process. And hopefully what we've made changes to in our lifestyle and our nutrition are things that we can maintain for a lifetime. And so that's why I really like people to enjoy what they're doing when they're making those changes. So if you have a fitness regimen, let's do something you really enjoy. So this is something you can do for a lifetime. All right. So if you are going through this process, please embrace the journey. And, hopefully you have a team that's supporting you in this process, helping you to understand when you are going through the process, when you're going backwards. And, I think having that team can be really, really important in terms of, just really making you feel confident that what you're doing is the right process. All right. At Clean Body, this is something that we do. And one thing we really like to do at Clean Body is we actually like to give everybody a journaling system. So it's on an app. And with that journaling system, we get to see what you're eating. We get to see what your poops look like. We really get to see what's going on there. We also like to track your progress. Every week, we like to give our patients a weekly update form. And so with that weekly update form, we're actually having our patients number their symptoms. And we're having them number all the symptoms, everything from bloating, constipation, headaches, poor sleep, itchiness, etc. So we're actually seeing the gamut of symptoms that are happening. And we will notice typically that gut symptoms get better first. Those numbers start to fall. Then we see headaches get better. And then, those types of symptoms get better. Mental health symptoms get better. And then skin can sometimes be the last thing to see the numbers falling there. So I think that can be really eye-opening. So if you're not working with a team like ours, you may want to think about doing this system for yourself is just once a week. I like to have my patients do it every Sunday. So once a week, just kind of logging in your symptoms and then logging numbers where 10 is the highest and 0 is the lowest. And every week you can just see how things are changing as you are making changes. And then I really love our journaling system because you can also, it really keeps you accountable for seeing, okay, what am I eating? What do my poops look like? Do my poops look like a type 4 Bristol on the Bristol stool chart? All of that's really important as we're going through the process. All right. So hopefully this is going to be helpful as you navigate through the process of healing your skin from within, because this is so important. I really want you guys to stop just putting Band-Aids on that skin and really start healing from within. Thank you for joining live with the Eczema Doc. I hope today's episode provided you with valuable insights and tools to support your journey to healing your skin from within. For more information, visit www.cleanbody.health or check the links in the podcast description. You'll find the studies and resources discussed today on my blog. You can also take my free eczema root cause assessment to uncover potential triggers, or download my free eczema relief guide for quick, practical tips to calm flare-ups and help with your sleep. If you found this episode helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast to help others on their healing journey. And if you'd like to stay updated with future episodes, please turn on your notifications so you don't miss a thing. Please remember this podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider or book a consultation with me before making any changes to your healthcare regimen. When you clean your body, you heal your skin from within. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next week.